our lesson. We're going to go full screen. All right, this unit, we are going to be discussing the internet at large. So what is the internet? The internet, or as my favorite square from this chart says, the blag-o-blag, I like that square. The internet is a hugely important part of our lives. And in this unit, we are going to be doing a dive into how the internet works. We're going to be answering questions like, what is the internet? How does it work? What impact has the internet had on society at large? This comic is from XKCD. It is an online webcomic. They make tech and science and funny comics. I like them a lot. This is one of my favorites. I use blagosphere, blag-o-blag terms from this chart all the time when I'm referencing the internet. So I love this one. So let's talk about what the internet is. At its very core, the internet is a philosophy of making information and knowledge open and accessible to everyone. As the world becomes increasingly interconnected, we become further able to share the vast wealth of knowledge that we have created and curated with any and everyone who has a connection to the internet. Physically, how it works is the internet is a network of networks, and it allows devices from all over the world to connect to one another through a variety of different means. We're going to get into that as we go through this unit. And all of the internet works because it's built on open, agreed upon protocols. So let's talk about what protocols are. Protocol is a widely agreed upon set of rules that is going to standardize communication between machines. If we didn't have agreed upon protocols on which the internet was built, any sort of discussion between devices would be difficult because it would be as though every computer was speaking different languages. Protocols such as ASCII, which we learned about in our data unit, are what allow computers to agree on how to send, store, and interpret data all in the same way, which allows them to efficiently communicate with one another because they're all speaking the same language. They're all using those same set of protocols to interface with their data. So the internet is most basically a way for all machines on the globe to communicate with one another, and for us as humans to communicate with each other through them. As long as two humans have a device that's connected to the internet, they can communicate with each other across any distance. Now, the internet is absolutely enormous, and people on the internet is constantly growing. So in the year 2005, a long time ago, I know, approximately 16% of the world was online, which not a huge number. About 50% of the developed world and 8% of the developing world. So again, not a huge amount of the world was online. In 2014, we fast forward, only 9 years later, we've jumped from 16% to 40% of the world being online. Jumped from 50% to 78% of the developed world being online. And we jumped from 8 to 32% of the developing world being online, which is a very large jump. If we look at statistics from last year, in 2020, almost 59% of the global population was online. So in just 6 years, we jumped another 19% of the global population being connected to the internet. So roughly 4.6 billion people are connected to the internet at this point. I think that statistic was taken in November of last year. Now, the internet is absolutely enormous, like I just said. And according to current statistics, there are 9,290 tweets sent, 88,594 Google searches, roughly 3 million emails sent, about 67% of which are spam, and 108,165 gigabytes of internet traffic. Now, what time, how long do you think it takes for those statistics to be met? Is that a day? Is that a minute? Is that an hour?
A second?
What time frame do we think? I saw that someone spoke and my headphones are dead. Please repeat.
Oh, a second maybe, or a minute?
Every second is correct. So every single second, over 9,000 tweets are being sent, almost 90,000 Google searches, millions and millions of emails, and hundreds of thousands of gigabytes of internet traffic are being processed every single second, which this is astronomical. Now, if you want to look at these stats and find more for yourself, you can go to internetlivestats.com. They have a very fun interface. You can see all kinds of different statistics about traffic on the internet. So let's talk about some of the impact that the internet has had on society at large. The internet allows us to collaborate a lot more. You can people are able to work around the world with other people on projects. You can communicate with everyone you want to, no matter where you are or where they are. The dissemination of information has become easier than ever. We can send information, just that's part of communication. You can send information to anyone wherever they are. Crowdsourcing, people are coming together to fund good causes or to collaboratively work on different problems. Now, those are all pretty positive impacts, but there are some negative impacts. Along with the internet, there's anonymity and the potential for censorship. There are legal and ethical concerns about both of these topics. So let's dive a little bit deeper into each of these things. For communication, there's email, there's video calls, there's social media, there's digital learning. There's all kinds of different forms of communication that are enabled by the internet. And what we're doing now, this online teaching, it wouldn't be possible without the internet, because that's how we're all connected together. That's how all of our devices are communicating with each other, so that you can hear me talking, you can hear me giving this presentation. For collaboration, the internet has opened up avenues for all kinds of different collaboration across any distance. Things like the Match for Lara campaign have crowdsourced the diversification of the bone marrow registry, because not a lot of diverse people were donating bone marrow. So people who needed bone marrow transplants were potentially not able to get what they needed. So this campaign went viral on Twitter, and it spread the word to people around the world that more donors are needed. And there's scientific programs like Fold It or Folding at Home. They're crowdsourcing research on the folding of proteins, which is a huge breakthrough in our scientific research. Fold It is a game that allows players to attempt to solve problems manually as part of a game, where Folding at Home has volunteers contribute computing time. They offer up their computer as essentially being part of a hive mind. So they allow it to contribute its power to this simulation running, which lets exponentially more simulations be run than could be on a single device. So we can make breakthroughs much faster when we have all these computers to work with. The internet has opened up e-commerce. Online shopping lets us as consumers purchase whatever goods we want directly from the retailers. We don't have to get up and get out of our home to go and get what we need. We don't have to travel to the next town over to buy shoes or whatever. It also enables people who might not have the funds to run a physical store to sell whatever they make. Stores like Etsy may have creators who make all kinds of different things, and they don't need to have a physical store to sell what they make. They have a storefront on Etsy and they can sell all of their wares digitally. And another benefit of e-commerce is that consumers are able to get the best possible deal on any given product because they have access to all the information about it. And they're not disadvantaged by their location or their lack of knowledge about it. They can find exactly what they want for exactly the price that they want, and they don't have to settle for whatever is locally available to them. And like I mentioned earlier, crowdfunding is a huge sector of e-commerce. Websites like Kickstarter, Indiegogo, GoFundMe, these all allow people from all over to contribute money to ideas or causes that they find worthy of their cash. So if there's a really cool piece of technology that is being kickstarted, you can give them money to help them fund that development. Or if there's a game that you really think is worthwhile, or if you have a family member in need, you can set up a GoFundMe, and people from all over can contribute money to these different causes. Now, the internet provides a huge amount of freedom in how information is shared. And this is both good and potentially dangerous because there's so much information available for anyone to access. People are able to learn whatever they want on the internet via sites like Skillshare, YouTube, or any number of different scientific publications. You don't need to go to a research college or research institution to gain access to all kinds of high-level scientific research. It's all publicly available on the internet for anyone to see and read and learn from. But on the other side of the coin, sites such as WikiLeaks exist. And this WikiLeaks is there to provide transparency in government secrets, essentially. Now, sometimes adding transparency to governments is a good idea, but there's also possible danger in classified secrets becoming public, or potentially having military planes be known by people all over. So there's benefits and detriments to this idea. Now, especially in the current climate with the virus being all around, online learning is a huge sector of internet traffic. And learning around the world, even before COVID hit, was becoming more blended in general. We have the ability to do both online and in-person learning, and online courses are being offered and are available in a huge different variety of different subjects. So you can learn basically whatever you want online whenever you want. Another huge sector of the internet is entertainment. Now, all kinds of entertainment is made possible by the existence of the internet, from streaming sites like Netflix and Hulix. Yep, those are the words, Netflix and Hulu, to things like online gaming. People can go viral on all kinds of different social media platforms, and online gaming and the viewership of it is a huge, ever-growing sector. Twitch streaming is enormous. Esports are growing in popularity. So entertainment is absolutely massive, and the internet definitely enables use of it, or enables further growth of it. And of course, dank memes, as I'm sure that the children are calling it these days. This is also one of the primary sources of entertainment on the internet. Now, with all of these upsides, there are still definitely downsides to the freedom of information interchange made available by the internet. Things like access to copyrighted material, anonymity and censorship are all potentially problematic. The internet allows people to share essentially whatever content they want. It doesn't restrict what things are when they're being shared. And oftentimes, the content being shared isn't owned by the people sharing it. So it's possible it's easier than ever with the internet to distribute information that you don't own, or to gain access to things that you haven't paid for, with like pirating. So that's certainly a potential downside of this freedom of information. Anonymity is a huge ethical question when it comes to the internet. It's a constant source of debate as to whether or how identifiable internet users should be. And there are both good things and bad things that can arise from this anonymity. One good thing is that everyone is equal. So since all users are anonymous, it's hard to target or discriminate against someone when you don't know who they are. But also, when you're anonymous, there's no repercussions for being mean or being hurtful on the internet. Since everyone is anonymous, you're not accountable for any actions that you perform. So cyberbullying is quite prevalent on the internet. So once again, two sides of the coin. There's good and bad to the anonymity of the internet. And questions of censorship are also hugely hot topic debates. So should Google display search results that have explicit or illegal content? Is that something that Google should allow? Should governments be able to filter what content its citizens are able to see on the internet? Is that something that the government should have control over, or should the internet be a fully free marketplace of ideas? These questions and all kinds of more questions are being posed by corporations, governments, and just the general populace in discussions about how the internet should be made available for people as a whole. So many areas of our lives, as you can see from what we just talked about, many areas of our lives are highly impacted by the internet, sometimes in ways that we don't even realize. And throughout the rest of this unit, we're going to be learning the how of the internet, how it works, all kinds of these different things, as well as diving a little bit deeper into what impacts the internet as a whole has on society as we know it. All right, that is our presentation for today. Does anyone have any questions on anything that I covered? I know I didn't stop to ask for questions. All make sense? Cool. All right. Stop recording.